Hi friends, Chandrasekhar here. And today I am going to speak about with you. So I also call it we are going to talk about the D7 chart, the Varga chart, which is indicative of progeny, even the grandsons and so on and so forth. Putra Pautradi is what the sage Parashara has called. That is the use of that chart. As we have seen, it cannot overrule the natal chart. It would only give some different flavors of what is promised by the natal chart. In natal chart, we look at the planetary aspect, whereas in the uh, D chart, as we call them nowadays, we look at the Rashi aspects, the aspects of signs, and the planets also occupying that sign will aspect the other sign which is aspected. Other two signs, as a matter of fact, three signs which are aspected. That has already been commented upon, so I will not repeat it. So what we shall do is we shall look at the D chart of D7 chart of our great Warren Buffett, whom everybody knows, and he's still alive, by the way. And then what we are doing is, as I always say, as I see face the screen, as you will face the screen on the left side is the natal chart, on the right side is D7 chart. It is indicated by writing D7 in the ascendant, the first bhava of the chart. So let us see what does the natal charts about progeny. We can find here that for the first progeny, what is indicated, Rahu is there. Since Rahu is there and Rahu is a unique planet, it can give one male and one female sort of thing. So it's not impossible to have even twins, but in that case, the bhava would have to be generally Gemini bhava. And the planet could be either Rahu, but preferably Buddha, that is Mercury. Here we have got Rahu there. Rahu in a male Rashi. So he had a daughter. He is indicated. Rahu holds a bhava, so he doesn't cause negativism where the house it occupies, especially when he is alone. Second bhava has Jupiter and Mars, though Mars does many a times indicate only female, but here being with Jupiter and in the seventh bhava, which is third from the fifth, so the second progeny was a male. Peter was his name. The first progeny was the son, a daughter to Mr. Buffett. And in the third bhava, we find Sun occupying it. Sun also can sometimes be, female. Not necessarily always it will give a male child, though it is a male planet. But being in own house, he tends to give a male progeny. And that was his second son, Mr. Peter. Now, this much we can see from the chart of Warren Buffett himself. What happens with, uh, you know, what can I call it? The D7 chart. Let us look at it. D7, we find that, as you know, the cardinal signs aspect the fixed signs and vice versa, barring the one immediately adjacent to it. Here, in the fifth bhava of the D7 chart, we see Ketu and Jupiter aspect the fifth bhava. Now, Ketu, always please remember that Ketu tends to give female progeny. The one of the aphorism in case by Gemini in case of siblings is Keto Bhagini Bahulyam. Keto gives many sisters. Even otherwise, there is another aphorism which says Vipratam Ketu. It is basically, it comes in the adhyaya or chapter of Argalas. But Ketu does tend to change wherever he happens to be, the nature or the results, end results. And though he is like Mars, so in a way, a male planet, he tends to give sisters, or in this case, daughters. Mercury himself is, as you know, is a Unish planet, so he can give either male or female. Here, as we already talked about, Mr. Warren Buffett has first daughter named Susan. He was pretty close to her anyway, but that is a different subject. Then comes the second progeny. It will be third from the fifth, which happens to be here, house of Moon. Who aspects it? We say Sun is aspecting that. Sun being in a fixed Rashi and Saturn also being in the fifth Rashi will aspect the seventh bhava of the D7 chart, which represents the second progeny. And Saturn, as you know, again is a planet, and both of them aspecting the seventh bhava gave him a, because Sun will always control the tendencies of Saturn. Saturn is a like Mercury; it can give either sexes. Please remember. And so they are also again, of course, aspected by, but that is the second bhava which is aspected by Ketu Guru. They see, look here, Ketu and Guru, rather Jupiter, does not aspect the seventh bhava. So female progeny doesn't come through, male progeny comes. Then what about the third progeny? Because he had three progeny, one daughter, two sons. So again, third from the seventh bhava, which happens to be the ninth bhava, where Venus occupies that bhava. As we see, no other aspect is there, sign aspect, because dual signs aspect each other. There are no planets in dual signs other than in Virgo, where Venus himself is occupied. Now there is always a confusion about whether Venus being a female planet will give female progeny. But remember, I think it is third chapter of the and third pada, which says Shukra Drug Yoge. Drug means aspect, Yoga means occupation. Putra Labha. Venus, when he occupies, basically that refers to ninth bhava, but ninth bhava can also be added. Ninth from ninth to fifth, you can also look at it in that fashion. So don't get confused. But it is said, Shukre Drug Yoge Putra Labha. And he had the last of his progeny was a son called Peter. Incidentally, Venus occupies that bhava. Perhaps that is why that son, Mr. Peter, was more attracted towards, music and art subjects. He was an Emmy Award winner. So you can understand those small flavors come through. See, so his daughter, as represented by the fifth bhava, could perhaps guide Mr. Warren Buffett, because Jupiter, as you know, along with Ketu, is aspecting that bhava. Mercury occupies it, so he might even be in some way involved or with some sell purchase for Mr. Warren Buffett, etc. I can extend it. I don't want to do that, because it is said that when he wanted to purchase a car, he would say to his daughter. But let us not confuse it. This is just an indication how different, flavors can be from the D7. D1 itself is showing us many things which are not very difficult to understand, but we must understand that why D7 is used. And as I never forget to tell that I do not use them regularly. I generally depend on the Lagna chart, the D1 chart, and the D9 chart for analysis. But if sometimes there is a difference between what is told by these charts and what actually is happening in the life of the Jataka. I might sometimes refer to the relevant D chart. So please understand this, and I think this should be enough. As some of our subscribers have requested me to give these charts, the reference charts which I am sharing with you. In the South Indian style, at my it's very difficult to draw different charts again and again because I have to draw them to make them clear. I can share them as it is from the software, but then the clarity is not there. And so we can also see that all these planets which are recorded, like Sun has 10.5 strength. Dashavarga Bala we consider here because D7 gets 1.5 mark in the Varga Bala system. More than that, he gets in the SaptāMsha Divisional. In SaptāMsha Divisional, he gets one only strength out of 20. So I prefer Dashavarga chart. You can see it's pretty easy. Mercury has 15.65 Bala strength. Mercury in the fifth house means perhaps, more than 15 to 20 is great. So perhaps he had 3 children because in the western part, generally 1 or 2 children are, you will see not more than that. Of course, in Warren Buffett's generation, that was not the case. Then we see Sun with 10.5 point strength aspects the extremely sorry, seventh bhava, indicating the second progeny. Saturn himself has 10.8 strength, so not bad, isn't it? But that's why Saturn perhaps is not able to, give twins or whatever. And then if we go to the ninth bhava of D7, this we are talking about D7, we find Venus himself also has 10.90 points out of 20 in the Dasha Varga Bala. Those are written down below in red letters for ease of, understanding. Ketu, who also aspect the fifth house, has 11.38 strength. Jupiter has 11.13. So I am repeating it just because somebody looking for the first time here might be puzzled about what is the strength about. It's simple. Parashara has said that if the 20-point strength in 10 Varga system or any Varga Bala system, they call strength derived by combining those different D charts, you can call them, or Varga we call them. If it is between 15 to 20, extremely powerful results, mostly on the good side. If between 10 and 15, good results. If between 10 and 5, then not generally negative results. And if less than that, the almost negligible results are given by the planets in the D charts. This is what Parashara says, and you can find, I'm sure you will understand that originally fifth house is the progeny in general. What we can say, the strength there is also either below 15 or just above 15. So naturally, he did not have a large number of children. Of course, this premise will have to be tested on a number of charts, but this is the example chart. I'm just giving it so that we don't get confused about how they operate. And so, my dear friend, I shall take your leave. And if you like, I'll go on ahead with the other D charts that are there. We are done up to the 7 D charts with this one inclusive. We have considered. The rest, I'll try to follow. And please remember that Warren Buffett's birth details are given in the comments which are below on the YouTube channel of ours. And try to use the local mean time, because we have to understand that this GMT plus time, or what is called as the standard time, the nation standard time, Indian standard time, ascendant, whatever you want to call it, came into existence a bit later. So for earlier charts, it is better to take the local mean time while drawing charts so that we don't commit mistakes, let us say. Because in certain cases, when planetary is 0 degree, etc., the house would change. This is just for your favor of your information. I won't repeat it in further lecture. And I take your leave. I want to thank all of my subscribers who have been very patient and have requested me to continue with this series of Varga chart. So, my dear friends, a very good night.